Naofumi and his ragtag team of adventurers battle against a massive zombie dragon, and he finally lets the rage out of the cage. Naofumi reaches a brand new level of pissed off never before seen in another super emotional and action-packed episode of The Rising of the Shield Hero. I'm gonna go ahead and raise my shield right now. That's gonna be the preemptive spoiler warning for the rest of the review. You have been warned. So, this episode was kind of a big deal as they finally follow up on what's been going on with Naofumi and that curse that's been affecting him since the beginning of the series. We really get to see all of it come to fruition in this episode when he finally unleashes all of his inner rage against a massive destructive beast. But before we get to that, here's a quick summary of the episode. Just like the last one, it looks like Naofumi has been cursed to continuously pick up the trash of the other warriors. Even though it seems like they're going around and doing good deeds, they end up making things a lot worse. We already saw it with the spear hero who caused an entire village to be overrun by giant carnivorous plants, and now we get to see that the sword hero Ren has actually caused an even greater problem. In the previous episodes, it was said that he actually slayed this dragon, which, yes, he actually does. The problem is this dragon's body has like all of this poison within itself, and it almost sort of acts like a virus, and it ends up attacking this village, and everyone there gets afflicted by the curse of this poisonous dragon. And it's such a powerful curse, in fact, that it can't be cured with normal medicine. So that's where Naofumi and his team come in, and they're going to end up saving the day, but of course Naofumi is not going to do this for free. That's just not the way that he operates. And we get to see them battle against this massive zombie dragon. Yes, I said zombie dragon. They actually find its corpse, which is emitting all of this dangerous gas all over the place, which is actually affecting the village and the villagers within. But suddenly it springs back to life and starts to go on the attack, which causes Philo to go fucking insane. Apparently Philo has a really big problem with dragons, but Philo, while she might be a big, poofy, and ridiculous-looking chicken, can actually hold her own in battle. She even manages to damage the dragon a little bit. That is until suddenly she's swallowed by the damn thing, which causes Naofumi to go into a massive rage. The curse series, which is attached to his shield, suddenly goes into overdrive, and his shield just suddenly goes on fire, his eyes turn red, and he suddenly loses himself in a berserker-like state where he starts to burn this dragon alive. And while this is really visually awesome, especially the vision of actually seeing all of his enemies get burned alive in his head like mine, who, I have to say, when I actually saw that, it actually made me feel pretty good. Fuck that bitch. It does come with a massive cost, the damage of his friends. It wasn't just Philo being eaten by a dragon that caused him to go insane, but he actually sees that using these abilities ends up hurting Raphtalia. She gets severely burned by all of these attacks, which causes him to revert back to normal, and then suddenly out of nowhere, Philo just bursts out of the dragon. She was actually able to defeat it by swallowing its inner crystal inside of its body, which is kind of like the core that probably keeps it alive. So Naofumi, Raphtalia, and Philo are victorious, but Raphtalia has been severely injured and has been afflicted by this curse, thus she has to be healed, and in only a matter of a couple of scenes, boom, she's pretty much back to normal, all thanks to the efforts of the villagers that were working with Naofumi, and of course Naofumi himself. This is a really big turning point for the series, as he realizes he has access to an extreme amount of power, but it comes at a huge cost. He actually loses his humanity, and he has no control over these abilities, and he can even indiscriminately attack his friends that are all around him. The good news is this battle against the dragon does come with a prize, which is its actual core itself. Philo manages to spit it up and give it right back to him, and he tries to combine it with his shield, but he's not able to utilize it quite yet, implying that he's not at a high enough level in order to use this shield, which looks all sorts of gnarly. I imagine it's going to be like a super destructive dragon poison shield. All I know is it's really cool. But this moment is also really important because we finally start to get to see Naofumi actually being genuinely happy. He's not just putting on a fake smile. He's very happy to be with Philo and Raphtalia, and the scene ends with Raphtalia desperately wanting him to sleep in the bed with her, but of course he doesn't doing that, implying that he himself is not very warm, and he comes to the realization that if he's ever going to be able to reign in this power, he he is going to have to get stronger. So, what's the rundown on this episode of The Rising of the Shield Hero? A very simple but very effective episode. I was waiting for when they were going to get back to the moment where he was going to lose control and go crazy with his brand new power. We got to see some previews of it in the last couple of episodes, but really it all just exploded in this one right here, which is a really epic battle against a really cool looking dragon. Although I have to admit, the actual animation of the dragon was a little janky in the fact that it was mostly done with CG animation, and there were times when it looked really cool, but then there were also times when it looked really bad. That being said, I love the design of this creature. I love the mandibles that sort of open up on its mouth, kind of looking like what the Predator does when it opens up its mouth, if you've ever seen that movie. It looks really freaking cool, and I have to say that Philo was really awesome in this episode as well, although they did display that she does have one bad quirk, which is the fact that she's very selfish and just sort of does things on her own, and I mean, that's what actually caused her to get eaten alive by this creature, and the way that they actually explained that she actually didn't die was such bullcrap. When they showed her getting eaten by this creature, there's all of this blood that just explodes all over the place, but she actually didn't get injured at all. She just claims that she was just throwing up the fruit that she was eating earlier. I don't know, I just felt that that whole moment felt kind of forced, and it was really obvious that she was going to be fine. There's no way that they were going to kill off that character so unceremoniously, but the introduction of a zombie dragon was pretty awesome, but it was mostly just served as a vehicle to seeing Naofumi use his Rage Mode shield, which was visually, like I said, pretty awesome and probably delivers some of the coolest imagery that I've actually seen from the show, of watching him go berserk with his eyes turning red and seeing all the crazy electrical things crackling around his body as he was losing control and causing this dragon to get caught on fire. But ultimately it was Raftalia who managed to stop him, and I have a feeling this is going to be a common occurrence for the series where he loses control and both Raftalia and Philo desperately try to bring him back to his senses. Whether he'll eventually be able to control this remains to be seen, but I'd like to see if he could actually do that, as aside from him losing control of everything, it seems like a really useful power in being able to take down all sorts of crazy enemies, and I'm sure it's going to be really useful when the next wave of destruction comes. I do think it's kind of funny, though, how the other heroes, while they are coming across as more respected by the village people and doing a lot of really great deeds, are ultimately just sort of fucking things up for everyone, and it's up to Naofumi and his team to actually clean up their mess. I don't know what it is about that, but it is kind of fascinating and probably one of my favorite things about the story. I'm just imagining that when we get to the bow hero, he's going to have to do something to fix a problem that he created, but again, that's all just speculation on my part. What I will say is, this was a pretty nice action episode, which shows what happens when he completely loses control of his emotions. Overall, this episode did a pretty serviceable job of showing that Naofumi, Raftalia, and Philo are growing stronger in their bond and even stronger physically as well, but they still have a long way to go if he's going to be able to have to rein in that power. Production value-wise, this was a pretty good-looking episode, which did feature some really cool action moments, though the CG dragon did look kind of jank. Otherwise, it was still a pretty fun episode, and I got a lot of entertainment value out of it, but ultimately, not that much really happened in this episode, but I am going to give it a 4 out of 5. I still think this was a pretty high-quality and entertaining episode of the series, which you should definitely check out if you are following the story. So that's my thoughts on this episode. I would love to get yours. If any of you guys did watch the episode, please tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Did you have any favorite moments, any theories as to how he's going to be able to control the rage power? Maybe he won't be able to actually do that. What do you hope to see from the rest of the series? Let's get a discussion going about it in the comments section below. Thank you all for watching this review. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down, baby.